Hey friends, Nick Arnette here. Welcome to another episode of Old Dude Disc Golf. Today I'm doing a virtual interview with Robert Hawkins. He's all the way up there in Cranbrook, British Columbia, a town of 20,000. They have 5 disc golf courses. Isn't that awesome? We're going to learn all about that. They have a really good senior disc golf community called the Chain Rattlers. This is a pretty long interview, almost 50 minutes long. There will be chapter markers so you can skip back and forth, but hey, maybe you want to catch every second. If you have other people you want me to interview in the senior disc golf community or the low arm speed disc golf community, please let me know. I think I'd like to do more of these. All right. Without further ado, meet my new great disc golfer friend, Robert Hawkins. Go. Hey, friends, welcome to another episode of Old Dude Disc Golf. And I have another great friend. You have to call yourself an old dude. I'm not allowed to call other people old dudes. You have to self-proclaim you're an old dude disc golfer.
It's absolutely allowed. I'm going to be 72 this year, so.
So are you admitting that you're an old dude disc golfer, Robert?
Absolutely. Do we need a stack of, scriptural references?
Just hold up a disc and say, I'm an old dude disc golfer, and I think that'll be, here we go. I'm an old dude disc golfer.
Let's give Alpus a divergent.
Oh, you have an Alpus. Oh, my gosh. Yes, I have one, too. Wow.
That's my new favorite putter.
Oh, we're going to have to talk about that. But let's get started with a little bit. I'm here in Los Angeles. Behind me, my background today is Chavez Ridge. It's probably one of the most technical disc golf courses in the LA area, and that's downtown LA. If you ever want to play this area, it's very hilly. So the Alpus will be good. You need something that will sit down, or else they have a thing called getting Chavezed, which means you hit the rim of the basket, and it rolls all the way down the hill. And that's bad. It's a very steep hill. Anyway,
I can see that, and the Alpus is a silicone putter meant to kind of, well, they even call it stay put plastic.
Exactly.
But they're stiff enough that they can roll. Oh my goodness, like a Mustang's wheel.
Okay, they can still roll. So be careful about that. You can get a koi. A koi is a little bit even more rubbery. Yeah, and that's even less prone to it. Matter of fact, I just did a video about the koi, so check that out. Yeah. Anyway, I'm in LA, and you are where?
I'm up in British Columbia, Canada, a town called Cranbrook. Well, technically a city, much smaller than LA. It's only 20,000 people, but we're big on disc golf here.
20,000 people, and you have a disc golf community. How many disc golf courses do you have?
We have, well, we were talking about that earlier. It's either 4 or 5. I'd have to sort of do a hand count, but yeah, let's say 5. I think it's 5, and several of them, most of them are in town, and then there's one. It's actually one of the better courses in Western Canada. Is just a few miles outside of town, in a regional park.
Well, that's a very high disc golf course per capita, probably higher than anywhere else in the world. 20,000 people, and you've got 5 disc golf courses. Your priorities are great.
Well, I think a lot of the impetus to that has to go to one of our local disc golf players specifically, Casey Hanemayer. I think currently he's Canada's top disc golfer. He won the Canadian Nationals, and he's our local guy in our local club, and yeah, we all look up to him and try to emulate him.
Shout out to Casey. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. Does he have a disc golf channel?
Does he have? No.
Yeah.
He does post occasionally, mostly in association with his sponsors, because he's on the Prodigy team. And
okay.
So, yeah.
I'll have to look him up. Awesome. Okay, so then you have. I found you guys when I was just looking up senior disc golf. There's just so little of it on YouTube. This just hardly anything. And then you guys popped up, your disc golf community for seniors. So tell me a little bit about that, please.
Well, we call ourselves, and we did dub ourselves, the Chain Rattlers. And
the Chain Rattlers, I like it.
I was introduced to disc golf by one of my former employers, a little over 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, September.
Okay.
And so I was 68 at the time, and he's a few years older than me. and he had been playing to some degree for I think close to a year before I started. And I just took to it like a duck to water and loved it. And immediately, I think it was within 6 months, I was entering tournaments and just having a ball. But yeah,
Wow.
we're a regular group of between. We meet every morning. I would say roughly 8 to 12 people show up, and sometimes we divvy up and break up into 2 or 3 groups. But oftentimes, there'll be 8 or 9 of us, and we'll just all go together and throw discs all over the place. It's wonderful.
You meet every morning, do you get snow where you are?
Yes, yeah. We play 24/7. I have to admit to being a bit of a wuss this winter.
Okay.
Uh, we had a stretch, back in sort of the first half of January. I don't know if you guys saw that on the news at all, but Canada, well, Western Canada, just got a brutal cold spell
Hmm.
for about a week, maybe, well, actually about 10 days. We were, well, we used Celsius scale, but Celsius and Fahrenheit meet at -40 Celsius,
Yeah.
and we were tickling that one. We
Oh
were
my
we were
gosh.
in we were colder than -30 on either scale.
And you still had people playing. They were still playing
Oh
in that?
yeah. I mean, you take off your glove or your mitt to throw, and then you quickly put it back on, and we wear those pull on. Well, maybe you don't see these down in LA, but when you're in cold countries where there's ice and snow, you can get these little sort of rubbery snap-on cleats for under your boot. To give you some traction
Yeah, I
on
think
slippery.
they're called corkers, right? There's a
Some
brand called
people,
corkers. Yeah,
well, they usually call them cork boots if they're built in. I don't.
I see.
Often people call them cleats here, but whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
My gosh, that's crazy that you'd have to use that to play disc golf. Now, I would think with those cold temperatures, though, wouldn't some of the discs break?
Yes, and I was just mentioning my Alpus, my Divergent Alpus. Well, I broke one, but of course, that's not their fault.
They
They
even have a
say right.
warning about that. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
that
yeah.
actually with mine.
Oh,
Yeah, they
it's,
warn about that. Yeah.
I mean, it's not this one, but
Mm-hmm.
the edge broke in about half an inch, maybe a little more, and I managed to find some for those who use these silicone discs. By the way, there is a product. I'll have to get the information to you. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's an American-made product that is for flexible silicone, and you can glue them back together.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, that
Actually works pretty well.
yeah. Well, that's good to know. That's really good to know. It's certainly not a problem we have here in California. I do play in
No.
Colorado because my dad lives there, and I go take care of him occasionally.
Yes.
And I've played in cold weather, but not. I've heard that I have read that people use the like the DX or the lower end plastic. It's a little grippier in the cold weather and less susceptible to breaking. So I
That's
don't
not
know, but
true.
not true.
That's
Okay,
not
good to
true.
know. Okay.
They actually are the easiest thing to break after the silicone discs in the
Wow.
cold weather. Yeah,
Okay.
I used to throw a DX Mirage,
Mm-hmm.
Innova Mirage, and just split it right in half, hitting a tree. This was like
Wow.
a couple winters ago. Yeah,
Well, what holds up well? What have you found holds up really well in cold weather?
the premium plastics.
The premiums, okay, like the Champion, something like Champion plastic or
Yeah, that kind of thing. Star. They,
Star.
they they're just tougher. No matter what brand you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Who just their premium plastics. Yeah.
those and Lucids and all those things. Yeah, like just they hold up better. No guarantee that they'll survive, but they do hold up better. And actually, that Mirage instance was a one-off for me. Similar things have happened to some friends of mine with DX plastics, in the
Okay.
cold. But yeah.
So they break when they hit trees, and do they break when they hit the chains? Does that even break them sometimes?
That I haven't seen, but I suppose
Okay.
all things are possible. Well, not the
Oh,
chains. If they hit the metal rim or something
yeah.
hard enough, maybe they. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, tell me about the your disc golf community. Is there an age like range like to be part of that? I'm sure you welcome everyone, but tell me about
Yeah.
the age range of people that are in this community. The Chain
Well,
Rattlers, right? The Chain
yeah,
Rattlers.
yeah. We have a very active disc golf community and club here
Hmm.
in our city. And this is a very unofficial group. I think we're kind of locally loved just because they're a bunch of old geezers, But I mean, there's a little comedy to that too, I think.
Yeah.
But generally, and I'll give you some more information here. It's actually a much larger community than just our group. Our group is one faction, if you want to call it
Hmm.
that. And like I say, there's maybe a dozen of us that show up, give or take,
Yeah.
But we're all kind of in our 70s. There's a few that are in their late 60s. Maybe there's one guy that's even a little younger than that, maybe young 60s or something. But most of us, the bulk of us, are in our 70s. The best player in our group, I wish I could say it was me. It's not. Um, is a guy named James, and he's turning 80 this year, and
Wow.
he has a replaced hip. And my goodness, that man, he's kind of forehand dominant, and he can chuck a disc, and it's mostly his accuracy. Like I can throw a disc farther than him usually, certainly as far and usually farther, but he is way more accurate, and he usually wins every.
Great. And by the way, thank you for saying farther. That's my pet peeve. People say that I can throw further. That's got and man, I said that in
Well, I
one of
do
my
that.
videos. People were so mad at me for saying that. It's like you throw farther. You throw far, not fur. So you good on you. Uh here's a couple
Well,
things I don't go ahead, my
also,
friend.
sorry, I was going to fill out that last point though, that there is another group in town, not quite as many people, but still a fair number. Uh, they've actually just dubbed themselves as the Birdie Bandits, but it's another group, mostly ladies, and
Oh, nice.
they only go out twice a week, uh, but they're regular, and we sometimes meet up at the course, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You guys, really, that's like disc golf heaven. That's what I want to see. More women disc golfing because there are very, very few out there, and the ones that are out there always can put me to shame. They can throw farther than me, but I just wish there were more, and I wish there were more seniors playing. I want to talk to you about a couple things for sure. I want to talk about your discs, but I want to talk about health issues. For me, playing disc golf. I have had I've had tennis elbow. I've developed tennis elbow by playing disc golf, and I've had 4 cortisone shots. You're only supposed to get 3, but it was my decision to get another one, and I'm still having pain. I use a band, so I just take it really easy out there. But how about you guys? Your group is in general. Are they staying healthy? Are they getting any injuries playing disc golf?
Well, I think generally I'd say we're staying healthy,
Hmm.
but sure, you can, the older you are, the slower you heal, the more likely you are to pull something, because we're not as flexible as we used to be. But specifically, tennis elbow, I developed that as well. Like my first year of playing, I started to get a little more strength in my throws, and I pushed it, and I overstrained it. But what I did, I never went and got any shots. I went, well, first I tried using the those elastic wraps you put on your joints
Yeah.
to stabilize your joint, And I still have a few of those hanging around. But what I did was I went to a massage therapist, and she went to work on that elbow. And oh my God, I walked in pain. I walked out repaired. So so I got nothing but good things to say about massage therapists. And it hurts. It's one of those things that hurts so good, but but it really fixed it. And I go back now, kind of a maintenance thing, like once or twice a year, usually only once a year the last few years, but just to keep it, in shape. It really.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I haven't tried that. Where I'm at now, I mean, I tried physical therapy first, then the shots, and then I went to an ortho a couple of weeks ago at Cedar Sinai, and there's a shot that's $1,000. Insurance doesn't cover it, and he thinks that might work. It only has about a 50-50 chance, but I don't want to give up playing, so I've just been throwing a lot easier. For a while, I even started throwing. I'm right-handed, but I started throwing left-handed just to keep playing, and I'll do
Yes.
that again if I have to. But the rest of them are they are they having issues as well? Do they have tennis elbow or hip problems, or that they develop by playing so much?
Not that I could say.
Okay.
I know there are days when stiff and sore, but nothing. Like, I was the only one that I can think of that actually had an injury per se, like
Okay.
a sports injury, and that repaired it. So massage therapists are much cheaper than shots.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I think I'll give that a try for sure. Now tell me about the discs that you use and the weights that you like, and generally what you're seeing with the other senior disc golfers out there, what they're throwing and the weights.
It can really vary in our group. I'm 6 foot tall, fairly broad shouldered, and in reasonable shape. Now, what I do is I have kind of a rule about my weights. My putters, max weight is fine.
Right.
That's actually probably helps it hit the chain.
Yeah.
My mid ranges, I prefer in the 160s. My drivers, I prefer in the 150s, and my distance drivers, some of them are even. I've got a few actually fairways and distance drivers that are kind of in the upper 140s, like just below 150.
Good. I completely agree with everything you said. The way you have it, have it lined up. Good on you. And how many discs do you carry when you're out there?
Oh well, if I'm doing something official, I use small bags. Like I have a dynamic disc trooper bag. I think it holds like 16 or 18, and I never tightly pack it. So that's pretty normal for me in that sort of 16 to 18 range if I'm doing like a tournament or something. More lately, I'm using an upper park shift bag, and it holds something similar.
Okay.
It could probably hold a few more, but that's usually what I tend to pack in there.
But when you're playing day to day, do you carry that many with you as well?
No. Well, in the summer, sure. In the winter, no, because in the winter, I kind of defer to we have a smaller course in town. It's a full 18 fairways, but it's shorter, more of a pitch and putt type of a thing. The longest hole is in the low 200s, and the shortest is a 100.
Nice.
Most of them are in that 150 to 175 foot range.
I like that. Oh my gosh, I would love that.
It's just about perfect, and it's great to keep you honed in, for the season. So,
do you have well, anyway, how many aces do you have, Robert?
Me personally, I haven't kept strict count. It's got to be at least.
Oh, he hasn't kept count. Oh my gosh, Robert. I can easily say mine 0.
Oh. Well, I've got a dozen or so, but they're all in that shorter course. So
that's okay. I would count it. Believe me.
My buddy James, the one I was referring to earlier. Oh my goodness! On one particular hole, let alone overall, but on one particular hole at our course, which is I think it's about 150 or 60 foot, pretty steep downhill throw from an upper shelf down through a gap, through some trees, and down onto a basket that's down on the flat below. Probably about a 25, 30 foot drop. he has aced that one. I'm thinking it's got to be as many times as I've aced altogether. You know, like
Wow.
a dozen times, and his total count is into the 30s now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the closest I got one time, Robert, I threw it and it landed on top of the basket. And this is what I'd like to see change in disc golf. I have a couple ideas. One, I think disc golf, since it's disc golf, like the top be open, like a disc could also drop in from the top. Like yeah. And then that would have been an ace, but I think that would be super cool. Yeah, and it's possible.
Then it really would be a basket, wouldn't it?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And here's another thing that I'd like to see disc golf move to. Just like they have different colored tees in ball golf, I would like to see that also in disc golf, particularly for seniors with lower arm speed, because a lot of courses are bomber courses, like 400 feet. I don't know how many meters that is, but that's just a lot to chuck. And I think it'd be a more enjoyable game, especially for beginners when they don't have to, have a par 4 that's 500 feet. And yeah, I would like to see that.
Well, yeah, we play the shorter holes where we can. Sometimes we choose the longer ones just for the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
That best course in the area that I was referring to, it's called Wycliffe Regional Park, and it has we had some upgrades last year, so I can't tell you exactly, but there's one hole that's 700 and something, like maybe 750 or 760, I can't remember. And they joined a couple of holes together on the backside, and so it might be quite long as well now. It's probably in that 700-800 foot range. I don't know.
Wow.
But they've been installing short tee pads, and so quite a few of the holes now have short pads, and we, just because of our arm strength, we usually go for those.
Yes.
But I've actually had some, because the young people, I think, oftentimes don't realize a lot of this, and no fault to them, because it's
exactly. No fault to them. Right.
But a lot of times they, like I had to push at one point to change some of the U-disc pars on one of the courses in town here. Like some of them should be a 4 instead of a 3, a 5 instead of a 4, and so on. Mm-hmm. Just as an alternate for people like ourselves or people with other handicaps or beginners or whatever. I got a lot of flack for that. Like it was like I was telling them that that Jesus wasn't related to God.
Yeah. Wow.
But only from some. But we worked through that. But yeah, there's sort of a thing about, maybe it's a pride thing. I don't know what it is, but I like having the options, because even for those who do have the arm strength, it changes the hole and makes it a new challenge to throw. Because if you're closer to that gap, you might have to throw quite different to get through it. And so I think it's just a different kind of challenge, as well as maybe easier for us in terms of distance. But
yeah, well, you make a good point, because younger players they're not old dudes, so they can't really relate. And so many of the videos I see of people like, hey, try these discs. Yeah, they're good discs if you're 25 years old. Yeah, you can throw them if you're a beginner, because you're going to be pretty fast. But I have actually taken a lot of people out for their first time that are it's very frustrating for them. So I'm really all about the lighter discs and that are easier to throw. And I would like to see it's a lot, but just that it's also almost accepted that there's a beginner. You could even move up. Like, it would be a rule of disc golf that you can move up like 100 feet or whatever for somebody's first time. Of course, you can do that on your own, but I just would like to see it to be a much more beginner friendly, a really good experience for their first time, because there are not many places that are more of a pitch and putt. Now, I want to see your plastic. Let's see what you got. Show me, good man.
Well, okay, you saw my Alpus.
There we go.
I think it's somewhere in the 175, 174 range.
I reviewed the Alpus. I reviewed it. Yes, I have one that changes colors.
Well, you've got that one. I've got
Mhm.
this one with the glow, the stay put glow. I particularly like this one because it has a different texture than the other stay puts.
Yeah.
Really good grip on it. Anyway,
Good.
then there's my signature disc. If you noticed my email that I sent you, this is the Hawkeye.
Yeah. The Hawkeye, and this is 7.5 -1 and 1, so it's pretty straight.
Yeah,
pretty straight. Okay.
Yes, and this one is in the 163, I think it says, and I actually throw one that's just under 150 more often. It's like, I think.
Wow, I have not used it, and you're using Champion, which I found to be, for me, for the most part, very overstable. No matter what yeah. So that, but anyway, not always.
Yeah, I don't find that. I find the numbers pretty true.
Good.
But yeah, I tend toward premium plastic.
Good on you.
Not to begin with, when I first discovered disc golf, of course, I was being budgetary and buy the cheapest thing I could find. But
yeah,
but now I go for premium plastic. My fairways, I probably don't legitimately throw any real distance drivers. Like, I think I own one 12-speed. I certainly don't have or throw any 13s or 14s. Like, that just is not on my radar at all.
Right.
The most common thing that I throw in terms of distance drivers, what I would call a distance driver, is an 11-speed. Like, my favorite two are the Mamba.
Yay, Mamba! Yes,
yeah,
I love the Mamba.
And a particular run of them. This is from a couple of years back. The women's global event, the WGE.
Okay.
They made these red ones, and there's something about them. They're softer than a regular star. I'm holding my camera, so I can't do the thing. But they're very flexible.
Okay.
Almost more like a G star, but not really. And oh my goodness, this thing cuts the air. It has become very, very understable for me, and so I have to throw it with a great deal of intention to keep it straight. But I can do that if I'm careful. And I've gotten my best distance with this one, and with my turn. This is a factory second turn that I like. It's a 12.
Like that's a 12-speed, but I can throw a turn also sometimes. I have found with my forehand, I can generally get it to fly better, because I think you can get more spin off a forehand, a flick, I think. But I do like the turn a lot, and it's pretty, yeah.
My forehand sucks, so
that's all right.
I'm decent with the forehand, within 150, maybe even 175 feet, but that's about it.
Well, that's all you need. How much more do you need? That's.
Well, with the backhand, I've gotten these two discs out. I think the farthest I've ever thrown is about 325.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
And more usually, I'm in the upper 200s.
Good on you, my friend. So, good on you. All right, let's keep going through the bag here. I love the bag so far. So I just love everything so far.
Okay. Well, this is a harp. What's a harp? I think it's West Side, isn't it? But it's part of the trilogy lineup.
Yeah. Nice.
And excellent. I don't know if you call it. I call it a mid-range, but I think it's a 4-speed.
It has a very thin rim, so it looks like kind of a lower speed disc. But I've heard good things about the harp. Yeah.
It's a very flat top.
Mm-hmm.
I probably can't hold it right here for you. But
yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Okay. We like the harp.
And I also am a big fan of my Kristen Tatar Pure, also premium. It's gold X plastic, I think they call it. That thing, I can almost put it down a frozen rope right to where I want it to be.
Wow.
So
What's that one called again?
the Pure,
The Pure. Okay, I've heard about that.
made by Latitude 64.
Sure.
Um, it's technically, I guess, a putter or a putt and approach disc, but oh my goodness, in premium plastic, this thing is just it's a machine. Like it's
It'll go.
wonderful.
What's the weight on that one?
That particular one, what is it? 171.
Oh my gosh. But it is
So
putt and approach. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. Um, One thing I've learned to throw quite well is my Envy now. This is a Glow Envy. It's a little more overstable than the basic Envy, like the Fission Envy.
Uh-huh.
They even put different numbers on it, slightly different numbers.
I have a Fission Envy. I don't, it's not in my bag, but I think it's okay. I have a
Yeah,
Hex and instead of an Envy that I like.
yeah, I really like hexes as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, but this one, this is an everyday. This thing is going out of my hand every day, so it's wonderful.
And a little sidebar. You guys play in the snow a lot. So do you lose discs in the snow?
You can. What you do in the winter, like right now, all that snow. You know, I told you we had such a cold spell, and we had a big dump of snow, and so it was both snowy and super cold. Well, then the weather totally flipped, just 180 degrees, and now we're in hovering around zero, 0 Celsius, which is 32 Fahrenheit.
30, yeah.
And in the daytime we're going a little bit above that, and so everything started melting, and so now there's hardly any snow on the ground, just in the sort of in the shadowy areas and in the piles, and but most of it is melted away. Another one that I really like is Gateway's Devil Hawk.
I haven't heard of that. That's good to know. It's just great that other people are finding out about stuff. And what's the weight on that one?
Oh, what is the weight on this one? 173, it says.
Look at you,
And,
Mr. Heavy Disc, full weight, strong guy.
Yeah, no, but it's in that sort of putt and approach kind of.
Okay.
It's a 3-3 0 turn, but 4 fade.
Wow. Okay.
So it falls into that meat hook category.
Yeah.
But if you want to put it out straight and have it hook like a fish hook into the slot you want it to go, that is an awesome disc.
Good for you. Okay.
And maybe the last one I'll show you here is my Elevation Interceptor. It's one of these floppy disks.
Yes.
But it's a I don't have the speed written on here, but it's
they don't write them down. Yeah.
It's 4-speed or something.
What do you do with that one?
Well, it also is a very, very overstable disc. And I'm finding I can't forehand this one for some reason. When like these floppy disks, my goodness.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
I just can't get a proper, like a lot of people, matter of fact, some of my friends, they do a great forehand with these kind of discs, but I just can't get a handle on it. But for a backhand, I'm using this like with an anti-release. And then because it's so overstable, it pulls back up flat and then does the hard turn. So I can actually put this around a corner to the right and have it come back to the left, and it's amazing.
Pretty.
And it kind of sticks there, which is good. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I got a little distracted there. You asked me earlier about what do you do in the snow?
Yeah.
In the snow, we take a piece of duct tape. Most people use duct tape. I'm sure some use others, but you just get a little square of it. Like usually duct tape's about 2-inch wide or so.
Okay.
And so you get a little square off the end of your tape roll. Put a hole through the middle of it. I usually just put a little nip with the scissors, and then put a piece of thin ribbon through there. I usually use that sort of 1/4-inch gift wrap ribbon.
Yeah.
About a 3-4 foot long piece, and you stick that onto the bottom center of the disc, and get it as central as you can, and then you have this trailing tail, kind of like a kite tail.
That's neat.
And
If you have a picture of that, I would sure like to show everyone. What a great idea. And it probably looks really cool when it's flying.
for you. But yeah, so when it goes in the snow, because often they will disappear right under the
Yeah,
snow easily. Well, then there's a bit of a colored tail sticking out that oftentimes you can find, and even if it disappears, which can happen if the snow is deep enough, at
sure.
least you're more likely to come across something, you know.
Well, even that elevation disc you just showed, it looks like it's very camouflaged, like it would need it all the time. It looks like it would blend in really well. Like it'd be hard to find. It looks like.
In the summer, this one
Yeah,
maybe so green grass and all, but
yeah,
in the winter, this thing stands out like an
yeah,
electric light bulb.
yeah. Just the opposite. And in a tree, it might be a little difficult to find. But of course, you don't hit any trees, but me.
Never, never. Well, I was going to make a comment about your background there. That yeah, there's just definitely not enough trees there.
Yeah, this course, oh my gosh, though. This is the flat part, but most of it's really hilly and it's favored to forehand. It's called Chavez Ridge, you guys. Look up Chavez Ridge Disc Golf Course in Los Angeles. It's in Elysian Park. And obviously, you'll see Dodger Stadium on this hole too if you look down. But
Okay,
it's
I'll take your word for it.
yeah, it's very hilly though. So bring your hiking boots. Yeah, yeah. So Robert, what would you like other seniors to know that what have you found the benefits of disc golf to be, and maybe speak for your disc golf community out there, and what yeah, and encourage other seniors to get out there as well. Anything you have to say.
Well, maybe I'll try to quickly tell you my own little tale of woe and redemption here.
Great.
When I was introduced to disc golf, like I say, a little over 3 years ago, I was a couple years into grieving. I had lost my wife back in September of '68, cancer.
Oh my gosh.
But
So,
you know, but I was going down a dark path, mentally, and just not taking care of myself properly. I
mhm.
had gained weight, and I was just sort of basically sitting in my dark hole, and I had realized that I was not going in a good direction. So it was around my 68th birthday, a few months before I discovered disc golf. I decided, I better. What is the movie? Get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to do something. So I started changing up my diet. I kind of went to that. I think they call it intermittent fasting, where
Yes.
you just I don't eat until noon now. That's my first meal of the day, and then I eat whatever I want through the rest of the day until supper time, and then that's the end of my food for the day.
Yeah, I also do intermittent fasting. Yeah, I think it's a good
Yeah,
thing. Hmm.
there you go.
Yeah.
And I decided to start walking. There's some walking paths like a lot of places have nowadays, and I started using that. Well, that's when I ran into my old friend, and he introduced me to this. And over the period of about 6 to 8 months, I lost 55 pounds, which I have maintained over the last 3 years. And honestly, it's kept me on the right side of the grass. Like like,
Mm.
like this has been very good for me. Um, I feel actually in better shape than I have in over a decade, uh, maybe longer. And although the knees are giving me some trouble, it's nothing you can't deal with.
Yeah.
And and yeah, and we play hilly courses here, probably something like what you're looking at behind you. So it's been all good for me. Like it's toned me up, it's improved my breathing, it's loosened up my joints, put on some muscle tone again.
Awesome. Awesome.
And like I said, I'm tossing a frisbee in the neighborhood of 300 feet. So life is pretty good.
Pretty good. My gosh. Well, isn't it great that you found it? And what do you think that is keeping some people from trying it that would like to? What do you think is the biggest barrier?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to say
Hmm.
about that. The people that I've met here, because we've run local clinics and things for seniors, and put on little demonstrations, and it also helps some of the public schools as well,
Mm.
introduce the kids to it. And the biggest thing probably is that people they don't get a handle on the technique, and so that they can only throw a disc 30 or 40 feet, and they oh, this is not for me, and they walk away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, but of course, everybody who just starts, that's all they can do, and it's so much less expensive than actual golf.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Traditional golf, ball and stick type. Um, that it's just something that is so easy to approach and easy to get into, but there's another whole level of skill involved if you want to excel. Like myself, I've tried my best to improve my form, and some people do that. Some people, a lot of the ones in our group, they just do it because they like getting out there and they like the social aspect, and they can't throw as far as me or some of the others, but they just like the chatter and the smart aleck comments, and like it's just a great camaraderie. But I pursue it a bit, and I like going into tournaments, and I've got a little shelf full of trophies over there that I
Oh my gosh! Be sure and send me a picture of that. I want to insert that. I want to. Yes, that's awesome.
But yeah, no, I enjoy that aspect of it. I like competition. Most of the people in my group, the Chain Rattlers, do not like competition. I'm the only one really that well, with maybe one or two exceptions, that ever go into tournaments, and that's fine.
Now, Robert, are you still working? And if not, retired? What was your area?
Yeah. When my wife passed, I cashed my chips in. I was 66 at that time, and I thought, no, that's enough for me. So I'm a poor guy. I'm just living on the old social government pension thing, and
All right, then.
Yeah. So it just, I do what I can, and I got far too many discs for what I can afford, and
it just doesn't stop. Now you gave me a couple ideas today. Yeah, I always think that's going to be the one that gets me over 300 feet or something. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. But I'm so glad that you guys have that group there. I hope I hope other people are inspired for that. I'd like to. I'm in LA now, and I'm thinking about fully. I'm 66, and I'm thinking of retiring in a couple years fully, and then maybe moving to North Carolina, maybe Charlotte, because there's a lot of disc golf there, and I think that might be good. And then maybe start some senior disc golf type of thing there. I might play a tournament this summer. I've never played one. Chef Cal, who's a regular listener, he has a tournament in Wisconsin in the summertime, and he's Chef Cal, so he'll be doing the food there too. So you might enjoy that. I'll let you know when that one comes up.
Well, one thing that I found very encouraging was the introduction this past year of the Masters tournament, or the Masters tour rather. And of course they were all in the States last year, the introductory, and this year, although of course still it's mostly in the States, there are several events that are up in my part of the world. One in Alberta at a particular tournament that I just love, and they've it's called the Falcons Flight, and they've just brought it into the Masters Tour, which was nice. It's a great property, and then I think the BC Provincials or BC Open, sorry, is also been brought into the Masters Tour. So there are several events I can probably get to, and maybe even some that are down in Washington State and that. So
that's awesome. My gosh.
Yeah.
For me, I'm afraid of playing that many rounds in that, like, what is it, 3 rounds in a couple of days sometimes. I don't know if my arm can take it.
Yeah, and it is tough. I get very tired, but what I usually do if I'm going to go into a really big one, I'll go get that massage therapy thing before I go. So I'm, like a week or two before I go, probably 2 weeks. So I'm in much better shape, and then I can let loose a little bit. But,
yeah. So you look for like a sports massage place or something, like somebody who does sports massage.
Well, there's a particular lady that I use here. She's actually been a friend of mine too. So So
Okay.
that was easy to introduce. But yeah, massage therapist.
Okay. I'm going to try it out.
She in particular, and she'd get a chuckle out of me if she ever sees this, which she probably won't. But she's a masochist or a sadist, I think is what it is.
Oh my gosh.
She enjoys the pain that I feel.
Well, I would take that to get rid of this thing, man. It's just really aggravating. But wow, I really just so much enjoy your time. Anything that I didn't ask you, or anything that you would like to say that you didn't get to say?
I can't think of anything. There's a ton of discs that I would probably recommend, but we've kind of gone through that, and you've only got so much time. But yeah, I just say get out and do it. And it doesn't really, like, the social aspect itself, as well as the physical benefits, is just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I've often referred to it as kind of like Sudoku for the mind and body, because there really is a lot of mental exercise involved in calculating how you're going to throw, what you're going to throw, how much effort you're going to put behind it. And so it's very good for the brain as well as for the body. And I think all of that is great for us seniors.
Excellent. And I think that the studies show that actually the physical exercise is at least every bit as good for the brain as the mental, maybe even better, they say. So that's, oh my gosh, you're just really blessed to live there and have such a great community. So hoping someday my travels will take me that way. You say it's just on the other side of the Idaho border, kind of at the Idaho Panhandle. Keep going and
where if you're familiar with where Missoula, Montana, Kalispell, Montana.
Oh, good fish in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're directly above there. I'm about an hour and a quarter from the border, from Eureka, Montana. And,
okay.
About 3 hours from Spokane, Washington.
Sure. And crossing the border, I'll just hold up a disc, say I'm going to go play with Robert, and they'll just say, "Go on, do not hesitate."
Yeah, they might want to frisk you or something, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Robert, thanks for reaching out. This is so fun to explore the disc golf community, especially for seniors, for old dudes. Disc
golf. Say, before we sign off, I wanted to say congrats to you for doing this. I think a lot of people have benefited. I know a lot of the folks up here, catch your broadcast. So much appreciated.
I thank you. That's encouraging, because sometimes my very first video actually was planning just to be one video. That's it. And of all things, I didn't even start a channel. It's just a playlist on my regular channel with my comedy and my speaking and auctioneering stuff. So it's just a playlist. And I didn't really realize it would be something that people were interested in. And it has dropped. But if there's a few people that are liking it and finding it encouraging, I'm going to keep doing it because old dudes are awesome. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Man, you're awesome, Robert. Thanks so much. You really brighten my day, and all of you Canadians are good people. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Good people are everywhere.
Well, we're international now. Old Dude Disc Golf has gone international thanks to you. All right, thank you. Friend. Thanks so much. All right. Have a great one, my friend. We'll see you.